All hail the market. I am the working class guru, here to help working class employed people to self-actualize, realize their own labor power, gain leverage in a system which otherwise exploits them, uses them as human fodder to fuel the furnaces of production and towards profiteering means. People over profit, people over profit, but that does not mean communism, doesn't mean socialism. That these stupid freaking Marxist ideologies that, man, they try to act like they're the alternative, they're as if they're the Pepsi to Coca-Cola. You can get capitalism or you can get communism. One is more brutal and one has is backwards going. If you accept communism as the alternative to capitalism, you're not okay in the head if you think that this system is going to change. What we need is something new, and that's what I want to be here to give you. A new perspective, mainly geared towards working class peoples because of the ongoing entrepreneur gurus. But I want to talk today about mythology of capitalism. What do I see as being the given mythology of this cross-continental, hyper dogmatic religion that determines a person's worth based on the value that they are bringing to a given systematic structure, and that their share of that structure is somehow determined by the worth they bring to it, and therefore that's how they're regimented into the hierarchy. It's a weird sort of Brahmanic code. In the same, the Brahmanic code is the ethno-religious standard by which the Hinduistic people determine their hierarchy. It's the social structure of Hinduism. You have the Brahmins, the Dalits on the bottom, the Brahmins on top. You have the warrior class. I don't know. I can't rattle that off the top of my head without Wikipedia in front of me, but you get the picture. That same Brahmanic code is not only just for culturally general to Hindus, it's a universal thing. We see it across all cultures. There's always a class structure, and this idea that communism can sort of overcome that is ridiculous. And It is for me one of the main features of it as a religion, as a given mythology. We have to create a story. That this is a story without a story. You go to work and you work for your employer and you make some money, and then you blah, blah, blah. What? There's nothing there. There's nothing. It's empty. And this is what I do. I'm the working class guru. I'm here to help working class people make things fun, create a more material worldview, so to speak, to give you a different perspective on capitalism. Because I get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of thinking I'm not going to work. I'm a peasant. I'm a peasant in a giant space-faring feudal society, and my employer, the CEO, is Lord da-da-da. He's my lord. I am retained under him as a mere serf, apparently. And I see the logo. I think the logo of a company is, even Ayn Rand talks about this in one of the, I think it's page 90 of Atlas Shrugged. A modern coat of arms, the heraldic traditions of the Middle Ages, were a way to visually and symbolically represent that class structure. That they had a given visual semantic relationship with art and aesthetics that represented that for them. But it was a determinant as a signifier of power, and that's what the logo is now. But we don't connect them all to any sort of orthodoxy. It's not given to you from the Pope. It's not granted to you from the higher higher deacon or the bishop. We don't see them like that. It's not fun anymore. I mean, you get it from you go to the Bureau of Businesses, you go and get your LLC, or in what you get granted your business license, and what? It's not cool. There's no sword. They got to take out their sword and they grant it unto you. You have been bestowed with the power of the LLC. Here is thy logo. It's kind of lame the way that they go about it. They is taking all of that tradition and the symbology out of it for just the generalized because just the generalized secular worldview that doesn't really have. It's not fun because everybody you can't talk about religion because it's not PC. And I want to think about Mickey Mouse as a god. I want to pray to Mickey Mouse because Mickey Mouse, who made who? Who has more power? Who created who? Did Walt Disney, Lord CEO Disney, create Mickey Mouse? I don't even think Disney's a saint now. This is some of the hierarchies of visual interpretation of the mythology of capitalism. You have the gods. The gods are the higher beings. They can be anything. Adam Smith talked about the invisible hand. Well, what is an invisible hand? It's just God. That's what we called God for millennia. It was just some invisible guy in the sky. And the invisible hand is, according to Adam Smith, is the determinant of laissez-faire, which is just how the market forces work on each other, free market forces, blah, 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 blah. But it's all determined on that invisible hand. And what is that then? What is that besides just sort of a symbol or a mythology? We don't worship the invisible hand. We all of us worship the invisible hand, but none of us actively, in an orthodox sense, create systematic rituals and ceremony to commemorate it. And having these sort of rituals and ceremony as a people, as a traditional people, help you to what do traditions and cultures do? They help you to generate worldview. They help you to understand yourself in history as not just being this vapid, empty vessel for some capitalist overlord to gain possession of as a commodity. But we are commodities that breathe and that have thought and that have agency. Yeah, and yet the common peasant, the common employee peasant is just written off on the financial statement as an operating expense or a cost of goods sold, cost of goods. That's what you're good to the capitalists. Let peace be upon them. Don't get me wrong. I don't say that with any sort of vehemency. Yes, I do a little bit, but that's just a part of being an employee, is that we're vehement about it, but we need to create a step-by-step symbolic order by which we can deterministically create a given tradition around it. I want to have traditions again. I want to have symbols. I want to have we want to have a culture. We don't want to this way that Americans sort of backwards rationalize everything through, you're a part of this ethnic group, you're a part of this ethnic group, you're a part of that ethnic group. So you have Chinese New Year, Persian New Year, regular New Year, you're white, black, brown, purple, red. When realistically, class is mainly determined nowadays, at least, by as according to Marxist tradition of materialistic historical. What is it called? I can't even do. I do these back to back to back, so I'm burning myself out. The materialist dialectic of history, whereby your class is determined, your state status is determined by your relation to the means of production. So, in Marxism, you're nothing more than just whatever you could produce for your employer. I'm sorry. Let's make it cool. Let's create symbols. Who else is Scooby-Doo? What are these things? These are gods. These are universal archetypes of existence. The god of dogs, the patron saint, the all-powerful. And what do we do? What did people do for decades? They sat in front of an altar. A TV is nothing more than an altar, or a phone is a biblical scriptures. your phone and you read through the bios of your favorite entrepreneur gurus, peace be upon them, and as they give you your life's worth, and they teach you how to be an entrepreneur, right? But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to teach you to be an entrepreneur. I'm the working class guru. I'm not here to teach you to go out and you're going to go make some money. You got to go out and start a job. You got to go out and you got to go take the bull by the horns. That's not going to be possible for everybody. It's just not plausible. I'm the working class guru. I'm here to teach you how to create a structure for yourselves, create your own. Don't think about this. I'm a generalist here. I don't think that everybody's needs to adopt that value set. I think that there needs to be a segregation between the classes, not between the ethnicities. I think we need to let the capitalist class determine its own traditions and mythologies, and at the same time, let's working class people kind of move in our own direction. Let's go in our own direction, because I don't want to break these two apart working together economically, because they work together really well, but it's kind of leading to a lot of pathological problems with working class people. I'll get into another video here about the pathologies of what happens to working class peoples. If it's not here, then some of the problems that being a peasant employee generates in your psychosis, neurosis, and smart-sounding words. And what else? What other things add to the mythologies of capitalism? Mickey Mouse is to me represents a deity. Just like, look at Ganesh, the elephant-headed god of Hinduism. And when we go and we watch Mickey Mouse, we're watching the mythologies, the Mickey Mouse cartoons. We're watching the mythologies of this weird little djinn thing that pops onto the screen into our altars, and it starts dancing and doing stuff. It's recommending for us a livelihood that ties us and connects us to a bigger macro narrative scale. And what is that macro narrative? The consumerist culture. It's telling, what does Mickey Mouse say? What is his words of wisdom? Hey, go and buy some stuff for Disney. Hey, Disneyland. Yeah, go to Disneyland. Whatever. It's kind of goofy, but what religions give you? Come on, give me a good religion that gives you a better idealistic framework to believe by. Please. Hey, you'll go to, I'm Jesus. Go to church now. Go to church. I am Vishnu. Go to Vishnu. I don't know. This is what they do. This is what religions do, okay? To me, I don't see the flow from progressive. I love flow from progressive. Don't get me wrong. But she's the poster child of progressive, and her recommendations are go and consume this thing. What is she telling you? Be an active consumer. Get a job. Be a complacent member of society. Be the sheep that you are. It's the working class way. It's just what we do. It's not wrong. We need sheep. We need people. But have you ever tried? I mean, sheep aren't weak. Have you ever tried to go and pet a sheep? They're vicious. They'll headbutt you. Anyway, I'm running out of juice here. The mythology of capitalism is real, and I think it needs to be something that's addressed and loved, worshipped, and created. I am your host, the Working Class Guru, running out of juice on my camera. All hail capitalism. I love you, Mr.